BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Good morning from the Balmoral Agricultural Show at the Icon Exhibition Centre just outside Lisburn. Running for 156 years, it is the largest agri-food event in Northern Ireland. I'm looking out across the main arena and there are horses going out for the show jumping, but they will be replaced shortly by things like dancing diggers and the pony club games, which everybody loves to watch. But first I'm going to have a chat with John Henning. He is the president of the Royal Ulster Agricultural Society, who are the organisation behind this huge event.
The Balmoral Show is the big agricultural event. We have in excess of 3,500 competitive entries, 650 cattle, 1,000 horses, 1,000 sheep. And in addition to a lot of the trade stands and the activities at the show, we also have the connections, the meetings that are taking place between buyers, food customers, supermarkets, and it really is an event about connection.
Yes. Can you assess the mood amongst farmers at this stage?
In a lot of sectors, obviously, prices are good and it always helps the mood. And the weather has been good for a number of weeks. One of the challenges at this time of the year when we have the event is if the weather's not good, we perhaps need to be at home or doing a particular farm role. When farmers are deciding and farm families are deciding whether to come to the show, if the weather's good for the next few days, it's okay, the job can be done tomorrow. You've
had a lifelong association with coming to the show. I'm sure you came as a young fella, as well as now in the role that you're in as president.
My first Balmoral show was in 1966. My father brought me to the show as a treat as I recovered from the mumps. And when I recall that story, I can still feel the pain in my neck. I can't say I've been here every year since, but I haven't missed very many. It's been a big part of my life, both in terms of being a member of the society, being a livestock exhibitor for over 30 years. That was how I met my wife as well at this show, so it's all in there, yes.
There are huge crowds out here today, so I think I might see if I can have a chat with some of them.
We're from North Ireland and we enjoy coming to the show. Just a great day out and we haven't missed it in years. So I haven't.
Are you in farming?
Well, I have a few sheep.
And you brought the family?
Yes.
And what are going to be the most favourite bits to see? Is this your daughter here?
Yes, this is my wee girl.
Hello,
here.
Pez.
You see the cows and the sheep?
Are you in farming yourself?
No, I'm a wee tiny.
What brings you to the show today?
Well, you have all the information and you can get in contact with trade stands and suppliers and that kind of stuff, and you can meet people that you mightn't have met for a long time, and you can see the good livestock.
And you've come up from the south, possibly?
Sligo, the land of heart's desire.
Oh, so they say.
How are you?
I'm very well, and yourself?
Not too bad, thanks.
And is this your family?
This is our tribe, yeah.
You have
two boys and two girls.
How lovely. Now, are you in farming or?
Poultry farmer and beef farmer from Banbridge.
And why come to the show with all the family?
Farming, there's a bit of a gap in generations in farming. There's a bit of a succession problem in farming. So it's important that they learn about the community we're involved in.
I come from the farming area in Sligo. I'm not a farmer, but I just love looking at the animals and stuff, how well they're kept and all. They're lovely.
Now, just a moment ago, for the thousands of people here in the show, I met another man from Sligo.
There's over 30 of us here. There's a bus. We came up on a bus.
Just for the joy of it?
Yeah.
A show wouldn't be a show without livestock, and I've come into the pig and cattle pens. Just looking over here, there's a couple of the saddlebacks, the black pig with that sort of white pinky band around it, and they're lying in the straw, snuggling in. Their little tails are twitching. That's a really nice sight. And these are your saddlebacks?
Yes, they are indeed, Helen, and there were about 9 saddlebacks at the show this year.
And you're Robbie Neal.
Yes.
What's the benefit of coming to the show and exhibiting and hopefully going home with a rosette?
The pigs that we work with, the British saddlebacks, they are a conservation breed as well. So this is all about us promoting these breeds and letting people know they still exist, because a lot of these breeds were nearly in extinction.
how important is this interaction? The public are going up and down the pens, or looking over, and
It's massive. It's a massive week. It's the biggest week really as traditional pig breeders. This is the first time that a lot of us get to see each other on the other side of the winter and have a bit of crack. And it's a 4-day pig extravaganza for us.
when I was walking past the cattle pens, everybody's out with their hair dryers and brushes and talcum powders and things like that. How do you prepare a pig for show?
Pigs are naturally a clean animal. Everybody associates pigs as being a really smelly animal, and well, there's a reflection on me, but they're probably cleaner than some people I know. So what I would usually do is soak them down about a day or two before the show, wash them down, that's then good to go, and then it's a wee bit of baby oil to give them a shine. So I'm going into the local chemist and they're like, what's this guy doing with all this baby oil?
Come on.
In this pen, what breed do we have here?
Oxford Sandy and Black.
So what we've got is the strong ginger red main coat, and then these lovely spots and streaks of black. It's a very handsome little pig, and its owner is
Carrie-Anne Mooney. I am from Hollow Farm, small holding just outside Downpatrick. So our young boar here, he got second yesterday.
What do you have to do to prepare a pig for, such a big show as this?
Really, it's the socialisation. If you have that bond, that skittishness goes out of them. So yesterday he came in, and yes, it's all big and new and there's a lot of things he hasn't seen, but I was there, he was pulling on the end of my white coat. He did lie down in front of the judge and got his belly scratched, and then he got up and went for a run round. So that's a big key part, when they're social with human contact, you've got your basics going.
I noticed too that you have a young family with you here.
Yes, I do. 2 boys, yes.
Yeah, aged
6 and 9.
And I saw both of those two, the 6 and the 9-year-old,
yes,
handling the pigs.
They've been brought up with the kids and vice versa. So whenever we're pigging and the sows are farrowing, the boys are out in that process as well, and they are very hands-on. This is Tobias.
And you do some of the work that your mummy was explaining there? My goodness, that's quite something. Do you like doing it?
Yeah.
Did they pay you well?
No.
And now to politics, another stalwart of agricultural shows. Earlier this month, a consultation was launched on a new Nutrients Action Programme, or NAP. That's rules for farmers to help reduce water pollution. It includes further restrictions on the use of chemical phosphorus fertilisers and puts a limit on the amount of excess phosphorus produced by intensively stocked livestock farms. John McLenaghan is Deputy President of the Ulster Farmers Union.
This is a Northern Ireland problem, it's not an individual farm problem, so it has to be solved on a regional Northern Ireland level. So there's more we can do, but to target individual farms without scientific data and without a proper economic impact assessment on the effect that would have, is just not going to improve water quality, and all it does is drive those farms into an untenable situation.
Could it potentially mean the slaughter of livestock to reduce those numbers?
One of the things that really concerns us in the report, it leaves an option open for destocking on those farms if no other solutions have worked. They believe that it is acceptable that they can destock those farms. We in the Ulster Farmers Union believe that is not acceptable. We are a grass-growing economy. We have to turn our grass into other produce. We supplement that grass with imported feed. That imported feed brings with it phosphorus. We need to find technological solutions which remove that phosphorus from the slurries and then export it out of the country so we continue to produce our food in a more sustainable manner. And that is the journey that Northern Ireland farmers are on. It's a journey they're very happy to be on. It's a journey we believe we can lead the world on in terms of sustainable food production. What this NAP review is not allowing us opportunities. This is proposed to be introduced at the start of next year.
Another big issue that has reared its head is the UK-US tariff agreements. Now, nothing is set in stone yet, but has there been thought as to the implications on Northern Ireland farming, which actually very much depends on beef cattle across the water into the British market, should we call it?
It's probably unlikely that American beef will come into Northern Ireland, but if it comes into GB, which is more likely, it does of course affect, as you rightly say, our most significant market, most important market to us as quality beef producers, so there is potential for that to impact.
Now, on inheritance tax, the Westminster government plans to reintroduce inheritance tax on farm assets worth more than £1 million from April next year. But today, a select committee of MPs are saying that it should be delayed by a year. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, everything about the inheritance tax was unfair. One of the things which I suppose annoyed us most was that it will affect the most vulnerable and the most unfortunate the most, so those sudden death type circumstances or those unfortunate diagnoses that people get where they have a limited time left means they don't have that opportunity to plan their affairs in such a way as they can ensure succession without the reality, which is what will happen with this, that the successor will have to sell off land in order to pay the tax. So anything which delays that and brings a bit of common sense, a little bit of morality into the legislation has to be welcomed.
John McLenaghan, Deputy President of the Ulster Farmers Union. And I hope to put some of those points to the Farming Minister, Andrew Muir. And I'm just heading now to meet him beside the cattle rings. Good morning, Minister.
Oh, it's great.
What a glorious
fantastic
day.
Weather.
I know. Now, there's lots of comings and goings round us, Minister, so
Yes.
are you happy just to lean on the fence here off the cattle rings?
Yes. And as the day's unfolding and the cattle are getting ready. Yeah.
And when we met the last time a year ago,
Yes.
you were dealing with the issue of the blue-green algae in Lough Neagh. What's the situation now at this time, a year later?
So unfortunately that situation's unfolding yet again at Lough Neagh, so we need to do more to improve water quality. We're out to consult on our Nutrients Action Programme. I understand some people have got concerns, but people can respond to the consultation.
And you are suggesting, as part of NAP, proposals to limit excess phosphorus from intensive farms. Do you expect numbers of cattle to be lessened on those farms as part of this process?
So there's a number of tools in the box to be able to deal with these issues, and that's probably the last one. So there's other ones we can use, such as, for example, restricting use of chemical fertiliser with phosphorus, and that's one of the proposals within the NAP. And now if you're on a farm and you're spreading that, I want to save farmers money because they don't need to do it, and also that can save the environment. And there's lots of other examples where you can actually do that before you need to get to the issue in terms of livestock reduction.
Now, one of the talking points, of course, is the UK-US trade tariff agreement.
Yes.
Now, what do you think that will mean for Northern Ireland farmers? There's been a lot to talk about, fears of loss of markets.
My concern is that we could have farmers undercut by cheap imports from the US or elsewhere. So I've raised these concerns with the UK government, and I continue to do that because as part of the deal that's been announced, they said they're going to look at future agricultural access, and I just want to make sure that we safeguard our farmers here in Northern Ireland.
Because a large percentage of beef production here goes across into the British market, as it were,
yes.
And that would be a huge loss to farming in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, and there's a real concern around that. And there's another issue that next week there's a summit, the UK-EU summit, in terms of that reset. I've done a lot of work in the background so we can have common standards across the UK and the EU around food, animals and plants, and that would allow us to sweep away a lot of the challenges we've had in the last number of years.
And finally, inheritance tax. It was a huge shock for farming families here in Northern Ireland. When you go to Westminster Government, what are you putting forward there?
Yes, so I'm making it very clear that because Northern Ireland's made up largely of family farms, it'll have a disproportionate and detrimental impact in Northern Ireland, and I've been making that case time and time again, and I'm asking them to reconsider this decision. It's very, very frustrating. It's actually tremendously disappointing, the lack of proper engagement, and it really does feel sometimes talk to the hand, the face ain't listening. The UK government needs to have a bit more empathy and a bit more engagement and finding ways to be able to do policy interventions which bring people with them. And this has caused real anger, yes, but also real anxiety. I speak to older farmers and they're in tears around this. They're really worried about the future. So I really would wish the UK government rethinks their approach in this.
Farming Minister Andrew Muir. That's all we've got time for from the Balmoral Show in Lisburn. I'm Helen Mark. The producer is Heather Simons. And Farming Today is a BBC Audio Bristol production.